pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a lot of candidates here tonight, and I'd like to give each of them about 5 minutes to say a couple of words. Chris Cox is running in the 1st Congressional District. I will let him introduce himself, say a couple of words, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks so much, Stephen. I'm really looking forward to fielding all of your questions in a couple of weeks. I love the give and take of questions. I'm Chris Cox. I'm running for Congress. Before I start, I just want to thank everyone in the audience who served in our nation's armed forces. I want all of you to have a round of applause for yourselves. Thank you so much for keeping our country free and supporting our families. You're the true heroes here. I'm a lifelong New York resident, and I'm a lifelong conservative, and a proud conservative. I am excited to be in this race against Tim Bishop because I believe that we have an historic opportunity. I think that government spending is completely out of control. We have spent more in the last year than in 8 years combined under Bill Clinton. But you know what? I have to say something. The spending didn't just start last year. It's been a problem with Washington for too many years across too many different parties. And we need to put a stop to it. And, you know, listening to the stories that I've heard tonight, I want to relay one to you about Scott Brown. When Scott Brown went to Washington, D.C., I was talking to someone who worked on his campaign. He went to Washington, D.C. about a month ago. And it was very interesting. He went to try and meet with senatorial Republicans to try and get support for his campaign. Do you know he could only get one meeting? Incidentally, he was with Senator McCain, but that's neither here nor there. But that was the only senator who would meet with him. No other senators would. The Republican Senatorial Campaign Committee wouldn't meet with him. They didn't think he had a chance. They didn't want to waste political capital. But do you know who would meet with him? It's groups like this group. It is the Tea Party group. It is groups like the Conservative Society for America, for Action. These are the groups that would meet with him. These are the groups that carried Scott Brown across the finish line. So a big round of applause to all of you who carried Scott Brown. This was a victory for conservative values. And this is the type of attitude that I want to take to Washington. I want to go to Washington not to be someone, but to do something. I want to cut the deficit. I want to cut taxes. I want to create private sector jobs. I don't want to grow the public sector. I don't think these stimulus packages, I don't think that is the way to grow jobs. We need to grow private sector jobs by cutting taxes and letting entrepreneurs grow their companies. That's what I believe. And I believe in the power of the individual to make a positive difference. It's not going to come from government. It's going to come from you. It's going to come from you and people like you in the audience. So that is why I believe in limited government. That is why I've been a lifelong conservative. That is the fight that I want to bring to Washington. And I want to bring each and every one of you with me because I need your help. You're the ones that are going to propel me to victory. You are the ones whose backs I will need to carry me over the finish line, just like you did for Scott Brown. I believe in you, and I want you to believe in me. Yeah. I know we have a lot of other candidates, so I'm just going to cut this short tonight. But I thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you all for standing up for the values that have made this country great, that will make our country great in the next century. It is thanks to you that we can go and stand up against the powers in Washington, fight against bloated deficits, fight against these government regulations that are strangling our businesses, and that we can cut taxes and grow jobs. Thank you so much. I look forward to meeting all of you in a couple weeks. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce Gary Berntsen. It's also announced for the first CD.
I'd like to start with a quote. God grants liberty only to those who love it and are always ready to guard and defend it. Daniel Webster. I have tried to live my life according to those words. I spent 4 years in the United States Air Force, 23 years in CIA's clandestine service. I'm the man that led CIA's forces on the ground in Afghanistan after the attacks on 11 September. I seized Kabul, I seized Talokan, and I am the architect of the Tora Bora operation. I returned to Afghanistan in 2007 to 2008 to work with the United States Army and to assist them on improvised explosive devices. They're killing 85% of our people on the ground. All of us are looking at this economically the same way. We have a $14 trillion in debt. It's crushing debt. We have jobs being sent out of the country. We are fighting 2 wars. These are very, very difficult times. This is why I'm running. The nation needs leadership. I will face down the president. If you didn't see it, I was on TV doing it this morning. On CNN, 2 weeks ago, I did 4 shows in a row, and I confronted the White House and stated that releasing prisoners, Yemenis, from Gitmo was insanity. It was played all day, and the next day the White House backed down. Actually, I called for those detainees to be treated as enemy combatants, right? Weren't in uniform, didn't have a patch, didn't have weapons openly, weren't commanded by a competent authority. Under the Geneva Convention, they should be executed. I would like to say to all of you that I am so proud of the fact that Americans are standing up and organizing. I got my first videos in the CSA from my son in Kandahar. He gets online and he was sending me YouTube shots of you people going at Tim Bishop. That was hilarious. So you're having an impact. People are looking at this from around the world, literally. If given the opportunity to be chosen by the Republican Party and the Conservative Party and the Tea Parties, I will run against Tim Bishop, and I will do no more than 4 terms in office, 8 years. I believe in term limits. Service in the United States Congress is not some sort of lifelong country club. It's not some long-term country club. We'll only be 4 terms, 8 years. Thank you again, and good night. God bless you.
All right, Mr. George Demos.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you all so much for being here tonight. This is unbelievable. It started last June the 22nd, in Setauket, New York. It spread to New Jersey, it spread to Virginia, and it spread to, of all places, the People's Republic of Massachusetts. Let me tell you something. On Monday night, I was over at Blue Point, and Tim Bishop was there, and some of the other folks were there. And he was running scared. And he gets up there, and he starts saying something about the stimulus bill and how he saved all of these jobs. Well, let me tell you something. Come this fall, we're going to have a candidate who's going to stand up and say, look what you said in March. When you signed that bill, when you voted for that bill, you said you're going to create millions of jobs. And now the website says he saved jobs. Well, he's not going to fool us. He's not going to fool us because we're going to hold him accountable. Many of you saw the State of the Union address last night, and let me tell you what the State of our Union is. America is the greatest country in the history of the world. And it came... That's right. And it's the greatest nation in the history of the world because of free markets, opportunity, capitalism, low taxes, less regulation, getting rid of this deficit. That's why it's the greatest nation, not because of social engineering, not because of liberal Democrats who get up there and try to spend your money better than you can spend it. Let me tell you something. The State of our Union is strong, it always will be strong, and it is strong because of rooms like this here tonight, overflow capacities all across this country. I'm a lifelong conservative member of the grassroots. I'm a lifelong voter in this district. I served as president of the College Republicans at Columbia University. And if you can defend conservative principles on the liberal Upper West Side of Manhattan on that campus, you can defend them anywhere. So I'm so excited to be here. I look forward to the screenings. This is the year we're going to defeat Tim Bishop. Come November the 2nd, this will be the 218th vote that takes back the United States Congress and sends Nancy Pelosi packing. It's going to happen for one reason. The people in this room here tonight. It started in Setauket on June 22nd, and it's going to end on November the 2nd at the ballot box. Thank you, and look forward to meeting next week.